cerebellar cortex and the I can't say it now.
Cerebral.
Thank you. Cerebral and the cerebellar cortexes are gray matter. So the gray matter is on the outside. The white matter is on the inside. When we looked at the cerebellum, what did that white matter form? It formed a certain structure in the cerebellum. Yeah, the arbor vitae. I would agree with you. It's the same way when we look at the cerebrum. We have tracts of white matter running through the gray matter. So really we're using the cerebral cortex, they communicate with each other. They communicate with each other through the white matter. The white matter are the axons. So white matter is the means of one neuron communicating with another neuron, or multiple neurons. They are bundled together into groups that are called tracts, T-R-A-C-T-S. A tract is a bundle of nerve fibers. So if I'm looking in the cerebrum, I have certain tracts. I have bundles of nerve fibers going from one region of the cerebrum to other regions of the cerebrum. Did get it fixed. I still don't know how, but I did get it fixed. So, the types of tracts. There are commissures that allow communication between the cerebral hemispheres. So the commissures, and for example, we talked about the corpus callosum, right? That is a commissure. So I have tracts running back and forth between the cerebral hemispheres. I also have association fibers. These connect different parts of the same hemisphere. For example, we talked about Wernicke's and Broca's areas, didn't we? What did we use Wernicke's and Broca's areas for? Speech, right? Broca's area is literally the movement of our muscles, our facial muscles, to create sound. What's Wernicke's area? Wernicke's area is both visual and auditory information. For example, right now, you are watching me speak and you are hearing me speak. You're seeing my mouth move and you're hearing the words. That's picked up by Wernicke's area. If you want to talk, you need both areas. You need Wernicke's and Broca's. So they are on the same hemisphere. We connect the two with association fibers. So association fibers are tracts that are on the same hemisphere. Commissures are tracts that connect the hemispheres. I'm not going to make you learn all of the different tracts, but this is a picture to kind of give you an idea of what they do. You see how the white matter, the gray matter's in the cortex. See the gray matter? The white matter form these tracts, and look at how they connect the different parts of the brain. We also have projection fibers. So you'll notice, if we go back a minute, we had commissures, we had association fibers, now we have projection fibers. These are running vertically. In other words, they're running down. So the association fibers typically run horizontally. The projection fibers run down. For example, here are projection fibers. See the projection fibers? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here are the association fibers. See how they're running horizontally? So I have association fibers, I have commisural fibers, the largest of which is the corpus callosum, and I have projection fibers. This way we can communicate, all parts of the cerebrum can communicate with other parts of the cerebrum through these tracts. We're not going to spend any time on terminal capsule from the radii. Let's go to the next step. sure did. I skipped that whole thing.
We don't need those?
Nope. I told you, we're going to pick out the important parts and move on. Here's the important part.
Is that in the one you just skipped or?
No.
7? Oh, God. Okay.
Well, we wouldn't want that now, would we?
No. Okay.
Terribly frightened by that thought. All right, what it amounts to, when we have, when we're talking about how the brain functions, the brain has certain systems. In other words, it works in certain ways. It communicates with itself in certain manners. Two of the primary ones are the limbic system and the reticular formation. A lot of times you'll see the reticular formation also called the RAS, or reticular activating system. So this is really a series of structures that are networks for neurons that function together. The limbic system is spread widely in the forebrain, in other words, up here in the cerebrum. The reticular formation is through the brain stem. We're to find out that the limbic system is involved in a whole lot of things involving emotion and memory, and the reticular activating system, or reticular formation, is involved in routing information to different parts of our brain. So these are systems. In other words, they spread throughout the brain, and they are really pathways. They're really tracing certain tracks. Oh, and I'm back to having this thing.
I have one finger.
Say again?
One finger.
I can try one finger.
There you go. Smarter than a smart board.
All right. Look at the limbic system. Let's start there. I'll show you a picture here in a minute. But here's the part that we want to look for. Amygdala. The structure of the amygdala, let's take a look at it. And the hippocampus. The hippocampus and the amygdala are two of the major structures in the limbic system. Let me find a picture. Here we go. Here's the limbic system. If I'm looking at the limbic system, you'll notice it's throughout the cerebrum here, right? And the ones I'm looking for, here is the amygdala. The amygdala is right here. Here is the hippocampus. So the amygdala is more anterior. Anterior, amygdala. The hippocampus is more posterior. Here's another important structure. We've got the corpus callosum right here. This great big thing up here forms the fornix. This big structure is called the cingulate gyrus. So when I'm looking at the limbic system, really the things that we want to look at, we've got the amygdala, the hippocampus, and the cingulate gyrus. Those are the major structures of this system.
So not before?
No, all of this. The fornix includes both the cingulate gyrus and this gyrus, the dentate gyrus. So the two of those are the fornix. But the cingulate gyrus is the larger of them. Here's the corpus callosum. The cingulate gyrus is above. This is the denticulate gyrus. It's below. Here's the amygdala. Here's the hippocampus. Here's the olfactory bulb. And you're going, huh? Olfactory bulb?
No, smell.
Yeah. I can tell you right now, the limbic system is very closely tied to how we process emotion. Which, think about this. The olfactory bulb? Have you ever smelled something and it instantly triggered a response as far as a memory? This is why. It is part of the limbic system. The olfactory bulb is linked to our set of emotions and our set of memories. In contrast, the reticular activating system, part of the reticular, using the reticular formation, is where we're going to maintain consciousness and alertness. So malfunctions in this result in a condition called narcolepsy. Have you ever known anybody who's narcoleptic? Are you narcoleptic? Is your grandma narcoleptic? Is she sitting there talking to you and all of a sudden,
Yeah,
down she goes?
she might not be narcoleptic.
Part of the problem is reticular activating system. Reticular activating system is what keeps us alert or conscious. And I'll show you a diagram here in a minute. So limbic system was memory and emotion. Reticular activating system is alertness and consciousness. So we're using different structures for some common function.